welcome to the This Is Metal Show. My name is Jason J. Rock Houston, and my co-host today is Blackstone Mike Wilkerson from Firerock Music Group. Mike is A&R guy, and he's filling in today for our mutual friend and my regular co-host, Tom Collier from the band Held Hostage. Tom was unable to do the show today, so as always, we're having Mike fill in, and our guest today is Thomas Polychuck, a great instrumental guitarist. So your album just came out on Deco. How has that been going? What's been the response to the new album so far, Thomas?
I mean, the response has been really, really amazing. All the fans are super happy. It's my first
Full length, shall we say? Yeah.
my first LP. It's my first ever a full album, no vocals, fully instrumental. A bunch of great players also on it. So yeah, people are digging it. Yeah.
And I also want to ask you, growing up, who were your guitar heroes, the guys that influenced you to pick up the guitar and do what you're doing now?
If I could make a list, there's
I guess your top three, at least.
okay. Let me start with the one I think who's the most influential, who like took me into the shredding direction, so to speak. I would say Kirk Hammett from Metallica.
Oh, okay.
Because I'd been playing guitar. The first time I heard Metallica was probably 9, maybe 10. I don't know, maybe 11. I don't remember. But I had been playing guitar since I was 6. So I had already, been playing guitar for a while, and I knew some stuff. But when I heard Kill 'Em All, I heard the first song, Hit the Lights, and the solo, still to this day, is one of my favorite solos of all time. It was just crazy. I was blown away by that solo. I didn't even know that was even possible to play on the guitar. I mean, my dad liked Pink Floyd, all those old records, and he was playing these records, and I had heard these things, but Metallica was just a whole nother level for me. So I guess I would say Kirk Hammett was the most influential, and probably also Alexi Laiho from Children of Bodom, which took it a step further.
Yeah. Okay, that's. I'll throw it to you, Mike. You got any questions for Thomas?
Yeah, how did the deal with Deco Records come about?
I was actually was through Chip, my PR guy. He knew these guys really well, and he thought it would be a great fit because they're a label that are they're really they're nice people. They're easy to communicate with, and also they have a lot of genres. And my album also is not just one genre. I know it's when you Google it, it says it's genres. It goes under metal, but there's a lot of like jazz and fusion and all that. Yeah. So he thought Deco would be a great fit, and it was. In fact, it was the perfect fit. So I'm having a really good relationship with the label.
I mean, Deco. They got Punky Meadows. They got Albert Bouchard, the Dictators. They got a great roster of artists, as you pointed out.
They have the Guess Who from Canada.
Yeah, and everybody that's signed, so far, kind of different. Even I think you're probably the first instrumental musician they got on their label. That's cool too, because it makes your release.
They have a
Tiffany too.
Which one? Who's that?
Tiffany. I think we're alone now.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's on there. 80s rocker Tiffany.
Yeah. Cool.
But I also noticed in listening to the album, like you said, the sounds of it is all over. Like that's the thing, is it's not like even though Kirk Hammett's your shred guy, it's not a shred fest. You put every album every song kind of stands out on its own, and it kind of has a different personality, if you will. And I think that's what you want.
Yeah, I mean it's well, you said it's not a shred show. I still indulge in. There are some parts where I'm just literally going.
Sure,
but the goal really was to create music that sounds good to my ears, not to kind of showcase my.
I guess that's what I'm trying to say. It's not one of those albums where you're just kind of showing off, playing just for the hell of showing off what you can do. It's really all about melody, the style. It's really about the song. I mean, a great example of that is I would say Genesis and Cyclone's first two songs are kind of pretty as metal as you can get, kind of hard rock area, and then Diesel kind of takes it down to a totally different place, you know.
Yeah, and also like Jeff Beck, he has amazing songs, and he's not necessarily the fastest, the fastest or the shreddiest of the the shreddiest guy, but his songs are just great. And a guy that really helped me with that was actually was Derek Sherinian, who participated a lot on my album. He gave me a lot of cues, a lot of tips, and I listened to a lot of his solo stuff from Planet X all the way to today. And it's always about the song, and he lets the other musicians take their place, and he always has amazing guests, and it's always about the song, always about, it's not a shred show, like look how good I am, and the songs are great. So that was very inspiring, and his philosophy, all of that stuff. I remember at one point we were working on one of the songs, the seventh song. It's called Reality. He was helping me kind of produce it, and he was like, the first draft that I sent him was like, man, you could open a noodle factory with that. It's just too much noodle, too many notes. Just take off some of those notes. Just go back to the basics, as if a singer would sing the melody.
Sure. And I had the opportunity a few years ago to interview Derek about his last solo album, and he used to tell me a funny story. He says, I'm a keyboard player. He says, so he goes, and I'm a lifelong Van Halen fan. He says, but I got to tell you, when they came out with Jump in that 1984 album, he says, I was like, Ed, where's the guitar? He says, that album is loaded with keyboards. You'd think I would have loved it. He goes, I loved it for what it was, but I said, man, where's the guitar? And he goes, I'm a keyboard player saying that.
But great songs, though. Great songs.
Yeah. And Derek, I mean, how did you hook up with him? Because, I mean, again, he's a big part of this album as much as the drummer, too, Simon Phillips. So how did you hook up with those guys?
First, I reached out to Derek Sherinian. Well, I reached out on social media to him, and I asked if he could just play a solo on one of my songs. And then it led to, we had a conversation. He said, yes, I'll play solo on one of your songs. And then he said, man, I really like your music. If show me more. And then I showed him what I had. I had a few demos by then. And he was like, dude, your music, I can get you the best guys there, like on drums, on bass. I can get you the best guys. Your music deserves it. So let me put you in touch with Virgil Donati. Let me put you in touch with Simon Phillips. Let me put you in touch with Brian Tichy. All these guys. So it was really through him. So that's why in the actual, when you open the CD in the booklet, it says huge thanks to Derek Sherinian, especially him, because he opened so many doors for me. Not only just his playing, but a lot of, like, he introduced me to the greatest musicians. I guess there is, like, the greatest drummers, like.
I mean, Derek is he's a legend in his own right, in his own time. I mean, he's played with everybody from Kiss, Alice Cooper, Whitesnake. In fact, I heard David Coverdale talking about that he put out these box sets, so he'd go back and re-record some stuff. He'd have Derek come in on some of the remixes and do his magic. And he's like, he told Derek Sherinian, he says, man, you were the bastard child of John Lord, the original keyboard player from Deep Purple.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally see the influence there. But something that I think the first time I heard Derek was an Alice Cooper record. Yeah. And it made the whole record. I didn't know that it was him. I just knew that it had something special about the sound of the. Yeah. And Flash was on that album. I think Steve Vai had a whole bunch of really amazing.
Stars. Yeah.
But the way Derek gave, like, he gives a vibe, like a whole vibe to the music, which I couldn't really pinpoint. But that's what he did with my music, and that's what I'm one of the things I'm really grateful for.
So Mike, do you have anything else you want to ask Polychuck?
Yeah. What do you listen to today?
These days, what am I listening to? Okay. What am I listening to the most? I would say I'm listening to a lot of jazz. First of all, jazz is like my new thing. Well, my new thing, not my new thing, but I've moved over to. I'm listening to more jazz than metal nowadays, and I'm listening to a lot of. It's funny because I never thought I'd go that route, but I'm listening to a lot of gospel, especially African American, the Black community gospel music, because the chops and the talent there is there. It's a whole community which I'm not really a part of at all.
Did a
But
friend or somebody turn you on to that, or you just kind of discovered it on your own?
well, I mean, my wife's black, my wife's Haitian, and her family,
Sure,
but
sure.
uh, I guess I probably overheard some of it, and I was like, what's going on there? And there's a whole. I mean, even for people that are not associated, you know, like, I don't want, like, there's no. I'm not talking about religion or anything.
No, no,
It's
no.
really the music,
Well,
and
I get what you're saying, like different sounds. I mean, you even listen to a guy like Steve Vai, who he started as a metal guy. He'd even done kind of crazy, wacky stuff like with Frank Zappa, and he put out those great solo albums. If you listen, especially his solo music, every song is like a different texture of a sound. I mean, he's got amazing sounds, and it's a lot more than just how fast he can play. So it's almost like you're painting a musical painting, kind of a.
yeah, it has influences from I hear sometimes. I don't know, like Eastern,
Yeah,
like Hindu kind of stuff, whatever. I don't know how to pinpoint it, but he has an influence. He draws influences from a lot of different genres, and I think that's really cool.
yeah.
I
Um,
get I get the gospel thing. I grew up. My mother was a Christian artist, and uh, we would travel in a tour bus for years, and we'd go to black churches and had listened to her sing with them, you know.
yeah,
And I get that. I mean, if you go to a black church, man, before you leave there, you're gonna get something. You know what I mean? It's like that's why Elvis loved black music because it was that's how it was, you know.
yeah.
But
Well, back in the day, people were more religious, but yeah, I totally, yeah,
Yeah, well, Mike Elvis even did a couple of gospel records from what I understand. You know, and he's got
yeah,
Elvis even had different sounds. Now, let me ask you, Thomas, because instrumental music, unlike songs that have lyrics, you write a song and it kind of tells a story, especially if it's got vocals and somebody's singing the words to a song. You kind of get an idea of what the story is behind the song or what's about. But your songs are instrumental, so I was kind of curious. Do you create the song kind of based on maybe your feeling, is it more about any emotion, or could you still have a story kind of behind the song? You know what I mean?
yeah. It's a good question. Each song has its own, I guess, meaning, and the title for it has a reason.
Yeah.
It's not just a random title. Like, for
Okay.
example, the first song is Genèse. It's the French word for Genesis, and it's because my biggest influence for the song, even though it doesn't really sound exactly like Genesis, was Genesis, the band Genesis, the early stuff.
It's funny because when I heard that song, I was thinking that's exactly what came to mind. Phil Collins and the band Genesis. I'm like, sounds nothing like that. I wonder if it has anything to do with that.
It sounds no, but that's what kind of triggered the idea in my mind to write the song, and then at the end of the song, it didn't sound like it, but that's what gave me the inspiration. And what else? I don't know. There's another one that has a French name. It's Diaison Sharp 11. It means Sharp 11. Diaisons. It's one of those jazz songs with a Z. And this is from because we have two jazz clubs in Montreal, and it represents and one is called Diaisons Sharp 11, which is a note it's a
Yeah.
note in the jazz players use a lot, and it just represents my city where I'm from, that jazz club, and so each song has a title for a reason,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
but
And it's not.
It's not like there's a story, but each song has a like the names are not just
Oh,
random.
well, I guess what I'm saying, when you, at least when I listen instrumental music, and I don't know about you when you're creating it, but it's more about, not so much about what the song's about, but maybe what emotion, it sparks, or,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
exactly. Yeah, totally.
yeah,
So, I mean, the names go with, for me, it goes with either the inspiration, either it reminds me of something, or either it goes with the like what it actually sounds like.
yeah.
So, for example, the song "The Cyclone," it feels like you're in a tornado. I don't know.
I
There's
kind of
something.
got that. I got that right away. Now,
Yeah.
I see that you got your own home studio. Looks like, is that where you recorded this album?
Yeah. Thing here, and you're actually like I'm speaking through like my laptop, but like underneath there's a whole like
Console.
a whole bunch of gear. I have like I don't know how many guitars,
That's
so many.
amazing. And now you shared with us before we went on air that you have a book or something you want to talk a little bit about.
Yeah, well, for guitar players, especially because I have like most of my following on social media is people that like to learn from me because I post a lot of like educational stuff, like videos, how to play, how to play solo, how to play this or that, or like specific stuff and technique stuff. So I thought that my audience, specifically on social media, would be interested to be able to read
Check it out.
the tabs and check it out and learn the solos and play along. I remember when I started playing guitar, tabs books were like one of my favorite things. I had Master of Puppets. I had Santana at one point. I had Megadeth. I had Iron Maiden, and all these tabs books. I was so fascinated with these books. I would spend hours just looking at these books and learning the songs, and it was a fun experience. So I imagine that someone my age, or like probably not the younger generation because they find everything
Sure.
online
Yeah, yeah.
for free, but people that are my age or older would kind of like that. So that's why I decided to make a tabs book.
Oh, that's cool. And can people buy that or purchase it, or is it more of an online thing?
They can go on well through Deco. It's sold through Deco, so they can go to Deco's website, or they can go to my social media pages where my link tree
Yeah.
is always in my bio, or my Facebook, or any social media, and find it. It's
And Mike, being that you're an A&R guy with the record company, I was curious. Talk to Thomas about how important you think it is, social media and having photos and all that.
Yeah, social media is an important part of it. Having a good PR person like you have, Chip. I've known Chip for years. I mean, so he's a great guy.
Yeah.
yeah,
To have a good label that wants to work with you and do things with you, that's a very important thing. As long as you got people on your side and you
yeah,
rally all those people together, you can live anywhere in the world
yeah,
and, make records and sell records. I see a lot of the, like CD and vinyl coming back. Even cassette tapes are coming back. Every
yeah.
major artist puts out a cassette tape now. And it's like, is that for collectability or do they listen to it? I think it's a little of both. That's why we got 20,000 versions of vinyl colors, because there's a lot of collectible value in it. And I really believe that as an A&R guy, what my job is to do is to make sure that the cream comes to the top, as they say, and
Yeah.
make sure that what we're putting out as a product is the best thing that we can put out.
Yeah.
So it sounds like you're in very good hands. I do have three-part question for you, real quick. First one is, do you still have the first guitar that you played on? Second one is, how many guitars do you have? And the fourth one, and the third one would be, uh, what's the guitar you play the most?
The first question, unfortunately, I don't have the first guitar. Uh, for some reason, I don't know how I got lost. It was
Yeah,
95, and I moved. I don't know how many times since
yeah,
then.
yeah.
It was I don't know where it is, but it still lives in my heart.
Okay.
And the guitar, how many guitars that I have now?
Yes.
I don't, Jesus, I don't even know. To be honest with you, it's probably around, it's probably between 10 and 15, because I got sent three guitars from Canadian brands that want me to help them promote their product, which are absolutely amazing products. I'm not saying that just I'm not even going to name the brands. They're just really amazing products. And I don't know, man. How many guitars do I have? I have guitars everywhere in the house.
Well, I mean that answers that. Now, before we wrap up today's interview, I just want to tell people you've been hearing us refer to this person, Chip. Chip is a legendary publicist in the rock industry, and he works with everybody from Alfred Bouchard to Michael Schenker, the Dictators, so many more I could name. He's given me a lot of great interviews over years, including Thomas Polychuck today. And so you were in good hands, and I think, like Mike's saying, that's a great kind of sign of where you are right now in your career, because to be able to say that, hey, I have the same publicist as Michael Schenker and and the Dictator and Albert Bouchard, that's pretty amazing.
Yeah, and he's a great guy.
Chip, if you didn't know, Chip worked for Mechanic Records back in the day, and he helped sign Trickster, and they were Marvelous Three now. South Gang,
yeah.
He helped with those bands back in the day. So him helping you to be a label is right up his alley, because he worked with those bands back in the day, helping them get on Mechanic MCA. I don't know if you all knew that or not, but
no. And I will say this, Thomas, before we wrap it up today. A lot of people may think that instrumental music is a thing of the past. I mean, back in the '80s, especially, we had all these like great guitar shred type of albums, but that's why a guy like you gets a publicist like Chip, because he's the type of guy, and your music, I think there's still an interest for it. Obviously, people have responded to the new album since it's been out. It's just about kind of how Mike was saying, you gotta know how to market the album, and I think you're well on your way, because the whole album, and you're talking to me about putting out physical product. The whole album is a great package. It's not just one or two great songs. I urge people to go out and buy your album, because it's just from top to bottom, it's a great album.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that. And I just want to answer the third question real quick. You asked me which guitar I play the most, and it's the guitar that I play the most on, and I think it's on every song except maybe the jazz songs. It's my 304. It's a brand. It's a Canadian brand, but it has a metal. It has a stainless steel fretboard, and everything is stainless steel, so it has a very distinct sound. So yeah, it's very special. Not a lot of people have has it. So yeah.
Well, Thomas Polychuck, it's been a great chatting with you again, and I just kind of got it confirmed as we're doing this that this will be going up next Tuesday. I believe it'll be 8:00 in the morning. Once I get the link for that set up, I will send it to you, and you can feel free to share it. Thanks for coming on today, and we'll definitely have you back. Okay.
All right. Awesome. Thanks for having me.
Take care. Bye bye.
All right. Bye bye.